Man, I missed a cool game back in 2010. Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Vanquish, the re-release of the 2010 third-person cover shooter, which is most fun when you're not in cover. Allow me to paint you a picture of what it's like to play Vanquish. Imagine the movement of Titanfall 2 in an Iron Man suit, with a huge kill set pieces of Mass Effect, and combine that with the humor of Japanese anime. Yeah, that's about right. It was not what I was expecting in any way, shape or form, but after completing the entire game in one 5-hour sitting, I'm glad I played it anyway, because Vanquish knows what it is, over the top, goofy fun. Let's dive in. From the start you can already sense what Vanquish is going to be. The intro shows Russians attacking the US with a massive space laser, and it's up to you and some AI to put a stop to it. Now I'm not gonna lie, this game is a piece of shit, but it's a fun piece of shit. The humor in Vanquish is bad, but it's so bad that you often find yourself laughing more than you would like to admit.
Not inspiring confidence here, words.
We need to take that damn hill.
Is it strategically important?
They teach you those big words at DARPA Pansy Academy.
The story is consistent in throwing logic out of the way, but due to awesome rocket-propelled legs and your Iron Man-ish suit, you manage to pull off something awesome and ridiculous anyway. Not to mention the number of explosions and giant robot enemies or giant walking cannons that you encounter every now and again. It's an acquired taste, for sure, but even though the rocket power slides and acrobatics, transforming weapons, robot enemies and slow-mo bullet time were all well implemented, I still look at the big picture and see a game that is only for a few people who can shut down their brain for a couple hours to enjoy this high-octane explosion field. Now, on a completely different note, the game is no remaster, it is just a re-release, so that means that the barrier for PC entry specs-wise is incredibly low. I was able to crank out 120 FPS at all time, where it is sadly capped at. So with holy shit, a GTX 460? Man, that's low. You're already set. I'm willing to place a bet that every graphics card nowadays is good enough for this. Now sadly, the awesome third-person adrenaline-pumping action fest that is Vanquish is not without its flaws. The game is 7 years old and sadly that is really noticeable. Although the game runs smooth, it does not look good by any means. Dated textures, lighting, audio, they all plague this game. It is unrelenting and not getting any better. Same goes for the characters, even though they are fun at first and will be at some points in the campaign. They will never change tone or perspectives. It makes it even more of a Michael Bay explosion party than the actual story already is. Don't expect anything groundbreaking, is all I'm saying. What else isn't groundbreaking is the length of the game. It's about 5 hours long depending on what difficulty you play and how fast you can power slide between enemies. Now 5 hours is a bit on the short side, but what bothers me more is that there's barely any replay value. I don't see myself going back just to do the same linear campaign anytime soon. And then we have the last thing. The game came out when there was a surplus of slow shooters, so Vanquish felt new and refreshing back in 2010. Now so, a lot less. Games like Titanfall 2 or even Call of Duty have wall running and boost jumping, so Vanquish feels a bit out of place now. It's supposed to feel new and refreshing, but somehow misses that point completely, now that we've seen this all before. The re-release of Vanquish is a fun and awesome opportunity for people like me to enjoy a game from the past, even though for most of us it will feel largely outdated and out of its time. However, if you like over-the-top action and a little bit of nostalgia for cool games from the past, this will fit right up your alley. 20 bucks for 5 enjoyable hours is not a terrible deal in that sense, but for the majority of people who can't see past the graphics and pretty much outdated everything else, I would recommend looking somewhere else. Because if you don't have anything for older games, then Vanquish is not for you. So that's why I'll say that Vanquish is not worth the money.